So, hi sir, how are you?
All good. Enjoying.
Okay, so before moving on to questions, I wanted to introduce yourself to my audience.
I guess um most of the interview starts with the introducing. Um, I am a scientist, retired scientist from Department of Space. May I know your background and what is your focus and objective and scope for the interview?
Okay, and so my first question is from you. What inspired DrTPS to become an educational consultant and mentor?
See, it depends on the number of people whom I interact across. They are basically not very good in academics. So I thought I should change the scenario of academics, and that is why I am. Same way, I'm asking Usman, what is your objective and scope of this interview? What is the
My
purpose
objective,
purpose of this interview,
yes,
and what do you do?
I just want to know. I want to learn from your journey.
Okay, what for? On what focus? What area?
Can you please repeat
Because
your voice?
your title says Upwork. So what do you do in Upwork?
I am working as a freelancer on graphic designing and video editing projects on
Okay,
Upwork.
okay. So your that is why I asked the introduction depends on what is that you do, no? Got it. So you are like an entrepreneurship who wanted to make money, support people to make money online by connecting
Yes,
people each other. Okay, and you are into graphics, correct? Okay,
yes.
I remember learning my computer aided design package in 1986, 1989. Okay, so approximately 50, 34, 35 years back. So I thought there are a lot of changes happening around the world, and people should become very fast in learning. Now, the Upwork is a new term which many people may not even know. So, what is that you have done? You have connected with the most modern activity using social media in the best style, connecting to people and all that. But this doesn't happen in education. Education people don't even get updated very fast. So I call the next world as the world of 321. The 321 world means third decade of 21st century. So how people call this as 21st century education. Upwork is a 21st century technology. Actually not correct. 21st century is 100 years. Things don't change in 100 years. It change very fast. So I call we are in the world of 321 world. The life is different. We have to be very fast. Correct. So I thought I must tell this to the educators, I must tell to the teachers, parents, and students that we are not living and getting educated in the 21st century education. We wanted to become part of 321 world. That is what I am doing. I'm so happy, Usman. What is your age, Usman?
I am 13 years old.
Yeah, 13 years old boy is thinking about this connecting with the people in the whole world. That's fantastic, wonderful, good boy. Love you.
Thank you.
Love you for this. And where are you
Okay.
in Pakistan?
In Pakistan, I live in Karachi and I am studying in Rehan School, Kurangi campus, and I learned too much things from here.
Okay, that is in Sindh. Sindh or Karachi?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good, wonderful, great.
Okay, so my question was from you. What inspired DrTPS to become an educational consultant and a mentor?
That is what I explained to you. No, we have to educate people that we are not living in the 21st century education. We have to talk to teachers. We have to think about life entirely different, which is very fast moving. So you can see the
Oh yeah,
teachers teaching in the 3-2-1 world. I must tell teachers
yes.
you have to be very fast. Create smart students, not intelligent and bright, smart. Like Usman.
Okay,
Every
good.
student has to be like Usman. Okay,
Thank you so much.
good.
Okay, so my next question is from you. How does DrTPS integrate his background as a scientist into his teaching methods?
Yeah, every teaching different methods are there. Different style of teaching. The style of teaching is when I talk to you, when you ask interview and ask questions, I am not just telling the answer. I am understanding, I am recollecting, I want to tell background of Usman is this, therefore I will answer like this. I asked you the question objective and scope. So I wrote a book called Adaptive Learning. What is adaptive learning? Understand the student and teach. See, for example, when I am explaining, I am asking you a question. What do you understand? And making you to think. This is called a discovery teaching. So I'm a scientist. So my teaching methodology is discovery style of teaching. I'm a mathematician. My subject is mathematics. So what do I do? Now I asked, what do I do? Instead of giving a sentence, I am asking question and then giving an explanation. The reason for asking question is you think, who are all listening also will think. The time is taken to think. So I want people to think. Without thinking, don't learn something just like that. If you just learn without thinking, that is not actual learning. So my style of teaching is always, or my style of making teachers to teach is always related to life, related to your background, related to what is around us. Think and see, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? Objective and scope. For this interview also asked, what is the objective? What is the scope? Why are you teaching? Ask that question. Why am I learning this? Ask that question. So if you do like this, your learning become very perfect. You become knowledgeable. Otherwise, you get information, you can write exam, you can get a certificate, but knowledge will not be there. You want knowledgeable, you must ask question. Where, when, why, how. Keep on asking questions like this. Good enough?
Yes, it's good. Yes, so what unique approaches does the DRTPS use to mentor students effectively?
Yeah, I make children not to learn the syllabus alone. Don't study for certificate. Don't train yourself for a job. Learn everything as possible so that there is an opportunity you can jump into that. You are not learning to cycle on a route. You are learning cycling using that road. You are not swimming in a swimming pool is not what your option. Your option is that swimming pool will teach you how to swim. So any water you can jump. So learning one subject, I am a mathematician, but I know physics, I know chemistry. I learned biology because I'm a psychotherapist. I understand the biochemistry, the body. I also teach geography. I know history. I know relationship between India and the other countries. That means I know civics, geopolitics. So once you know one subject, you can relate with all the other subjects. That ability for you to learn different things will come only when you learn very carefully. So I will ask all my students who are with me to learn everything around you because your life is important. So what is that you want to learn? Not subjects. You have to learn life, life. So all my books are called LIFE, life. Live in full enjoyment. Life is full enjoyment. You must enjoy your life. Most of my books, that's a poetry book. This is Life Made Simple. This is also LIFE, life. This is Life of Love. This is also my book, LIFE, life. So everything is on life. Live in full enjoyment. Learn in full enjoyment. Learning is an investment for future earning. That is more important. So there are two types of education. One is education for life, that means to make money. Second one is life itself is an education, how to deal with people. You are a human being, how to be human. You are a social being, how to be social. These are two things very necessary for everyone.
Very nice. So, what role does spirituality play in DrTPS approach to education and mentorship?
I didn't get. Put one sentence in that again. Repeat it.
So, let me show my question is on your screen.
No, you can ask me. No problem.
Okay, here's what role does spirituality play in DrTPS approach to education and mentorship?
See, we are a physical being. Look at me and look at you. We are physical, and we have a emotion. So we have feelings, emotion. And the third one is we have intellect. Intellect is our, oh, I can understand, I can learn, I'm a smart learner, and all that. Physical, emotional, intellectual, and social. I know how to deal with the public, I know the environment, all this is fine. But assume sometime what happens when emotionally we are dull, intellect also becomes dull. Emotionally we are dull, physically we become dull. So all these are related. How do we get out of all this? Even if I am not physically fit, how do I keep my brain active? Even if I am not physically good, how do I interact with the people the best way? Even if my emotionally I am down, how do I learn things? This is possible because on top of all these we have spirituality. Animals doesn't have this quality. So spirituality is one which controls human much bigger and higher than the normal animals. So spirituality plays a big role. India education system traditionally from long time it was all based on spirituality. So I am glad that this is a good question which you asked. Spirituality controls most of the human beings, not the physical, not the emotional, not the intellectual, not the social. Understanding that is what I make my students, my mentees to realize it so that they become much higher than the normal people. This is what is essential. One has to look at spirituality which controls emotional, intellectual, social, spiritual. In that level, the spiritual, the fifth fold, I call it as five-fold development: physical, emotional, intellectual, social. And the spiritual is the highest one which controls everything else. So it's very important to become highly spiritual. That is why I make my mentees, my students, my teachers, my parents. My name is TPS, teachers, parents, students. So I want all of them to become spiritually higher. That is what I do. Good question. Usman, you are great. Wonderful.
Thank you so much for appreciating me. And so my next question is from you. How does DrTPS help students identify and achieve their academic and career goals?
See, we have in our education up to 10th grade, pre-primary, nursery, LKG, UKG, grade 1, grade 2, up to 10th class. All subjects are taught to all the students. All the subjects. Name any subject in the world up to 7th class. Up to 7th class, what do people teach? Up to 7th class, me, life around me, the world around me. This is what is education. I must know my life. I must know the life around my life. This is what is up to 7th class. After 8th class, people get into abstract sciences, mathematics, physics, chemistry, which you cannot see with your eyes. That comes after 8th class. Okay, 8th, 9th, 10th class, this is what is being taught. So, how do students appreciate it? Generally, students like subjects which the teachers are good, they love the subject. Maths teacher is good, they love maths.
Can you
Social
hear
teacher
me?
is good, they love social science. But I keep telling them, forget about the teacher. Any subject which you don't understand, come to me, I will make them to learn that subject in a different style. So every student has to be opened up, exposed, taught that style. The life is up to 10th class is like every subject is like a buffet. You have different plate, every subject is kept. Taste everything and then find out which is your taste. Do you like that subject? Don't you like that subject? This has to be understood separately. Once you like that subject, if you get a career in that, a job in that, it is wonderful. Not everybody gets a job what they love. Not that, the subject which I love, give me a job in that subject. May not get. Because today education depends on the funding. The good funding comes only for some subject doesn't get funding. So education should be decided differently. Career and job should be understood differently. This is what I suggest to my students. Yeah, I think.
Good.
Yeah,
Thank you. So, can you describe a success story from one of your TPS students?
I have quite lot, great number of students. But sometime what happens is, soon after my retirement, or I took a volunteer retirement, early pension. So after that, what I did is I went to a small village in Kerala and picked up children from 8th grade, made them to understand the world around them, took them to different places, taught them language, taught them subject in a different style. They are all into different levels today in the international best standard of. They can speak good English. They were not speaking good English. I made them to learn language. I made them to understand different subjects. That was a great success. And second, at great different level, engineering college, university level, I've got children who would have never gone to such a stream of education, such a stream of best world education centers like MIT, Cambridge, and maybe the best research centers in the world. Have got my students. How did I get them there? Because I keep talking about them, the story of the best. You don't dream about a small institution, but dream about the best and the highest institution. So I could make young children to the university level students at different levels. There are different students at different levels. Many of my books, or few of my books at least, are written along with my students. And she postgraduate from MIT and now working in US. A very very successful student. So there are many students, out of which probably if you ask one of the student, I think I should quote Anusha, who has done wonderfully well in life, wonderfully well in education, and he is still in contact and helping me to make my dream of writing books and exposing it to the world. Thank you. That was a wonderful question. Can you describe a success story from one of your student? Great, Usman.
Yes, understand. Okay. So, what specific subjects or areas of study does DrTPS specialize in?
Basically, I'm a mathematician. My PhD is in mathematics. But then I jumped into Department of Space. My job was making maps. Therefore, I became a geography, spacing, mapping from space. The Google map which you see on the mobile, I used to make it 30, 40 years back. I know the geography of all the locations, my country and around my country. I know the how the GPS works because I work in space department. So we have a lot of things to learn in space department. I was in charge of printing maps, so I know chemistry of photography, videography. Then in between, I went to what you call it as geographic information system. Then I went to geopolitics. I understand the politics of the world, geography of the world, history of the world. I got a lot of interest in the Indian heritage. Not the India, when we talk about heritage, it is the whole Bharat, where Pakistan, Afghanistan, up to Iran, Sri Lanka, up to Tibet, maybe beyond Tibet, all the China portion was also part of Bharat, the great Bharat. So I love that area of the world where we had a great tradition, great heritage. So I speak on Indian heritage, though I call it as Indian heritage, it Bharatiya heritage. So we know that what is called SDG is Sustainable Development Growth, but I write it as Bharatiya Dharma or Sanatana Dharma goals. So I understand the heritage, the spirituality of this area. Therefore, I got specialized into Ramayana, Mahabharata, the mythological stories, the science of India, all that I study. And I am also a graduate in law. I have a post graduation in management. Now I'm a professor of practices of one of the great universities of India, which is called ICFAI University, which has got lot of centers. I'm also a research guide for the Yoga University of Americas, where the traditional knowledge related subjects, both spirituality and yoga, I can give PhD, I can give diploma and such programs. So I am connected into different subjects at different point of time. Yeah.
Very good. So, what are some of the most common challenges DrTPS to help student overcome?
See, they have to don't learn by heart, but learn by heart. That means with the feeling they should learn. Don't just mug up and put it in the brain so that they can write exam and pass. One, this is from the point of the student. Second point, from the teachers. Teachers want to finish syllabus. Actually, finishing syllabus is not the real objective of teaching. The objective of teaching is my subject, how students will appreciate so that they will start reading, learning, expanding themselves, going beyond the syllabus. So I must inspire my students to learn. That is what I should do. That is very much lacking in the teachers. Third one, in the parents. The parents want the children to be in the best schools. What is the best school? Is it the infrastructure? Is it the facility what is given? Or is it where children can show their freedom? So I keep believing the children should have freedom, freedom to ask questions, freedom to learn what they want, the freedom to understand by spending as much time as they want, not by finishing earliest possible. The children should have the courage to speak to anybody. The children should have presence of mind, logical reasoning, analytical skill, mathematical ability, language skill. If that can be given, I'm sure the education becomes the best. That has to be the focus. That is what I keep suggesting to the people who are stakeholders, teachers, parents, students, TPS.
Good. So, lastly, what message and advice would you like to give my audience?
Yeah, I think people should keep their heart for learning. Effective teaching, e-teaching, e-effective, E-F-F-E, effective teaching and effective teaching. How do you get adapted to the knowledge? How do you understand things? How do you use your knowledge to convert into practice so that it becomes a skill for you? And how do you get these usable for the people around you? So education is not to get certificate. Education is to create your knowledge helpful for somebody else and make the whole world to appreciate what you know. I think if that can be done, your education becomes great. So use your knowledge. Ask questions. Why am I learning? Why should I learn this? How should I learn this? If these can be done internationally, anybody can connect. Like Usman from Pakistan is connecting to DrTPS in India, Hyderabad. The world is in your hand. Use this facility to get into connected everyone around the world. If that can be done, education becomes boundless, limitless, and it doesn't become pointless. This is my message to the younger generation, not younger generation, the elderly people also must use that their wisdom and knowledge to spread across the people around the world. That's what I wanted.
Very nice advice. So everyone, I am Smartphone Paula and my guest for today is DrTPS. So I want to end my today program here. So sir, thanks so much for your valuable time and share this insightful information with me and my audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hope that no people will get connected and get into contacts in future also.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye
Inshallah.
bye.
See you sometime.